Good day, my friends. Let us not forget that Erika Kirk is now a big shot with the Air Force, doing something with the Air Force, the Academy or something. Let me tell you something. Nobody can bring that gravitas and that thing, whatever it is, better than EK does. So records from the United States Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors. The Board of Visitors. What is that? I don't know. Go find out. Let me know, will you? But apparently, to reiterate, records from the United States Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors suggest a significant internal shift is underway, my friends. One that raises deeper questions about direction, priorities, and underlying motivations. Now, according to meeting minutes from December 2025, Academy leadership has begun dismantling diversity-focused initiatives and reviewing curriculum and curricula through a new lens. Supporters describe this as a return to merit and mission focus. Well, I would hope so. Critics, however, critics of this, you know who the critics are, right? They see something else emerging beneath the surface, pointing to what they believe is an ideological realignment, one that increasingly intersects with religious language and influence and whatever. And at the center of that concern, at the center, is the anticipated appointment of conservative activist extraordinaire Erika Kirk. Oh, this is big, Sparky. You see, the timing of these developments is difficult to ignore, many suspect. You see, the broader administration has, in recent months, incorporated more, some say overt religious rhetoric into policy messaging. This is what people are suggesting, including a language used by some officials and supporters describing geopolitical conflicts in spiritual or providential terms. Now, while such framing is not unprecedented, certainly in American political discourse, its, as they say, intersection with military policy has, maybe raised some eyebrows among observers who question perhaps maybe whether the boundary between personal belief and institutional direction is becoming less distinct. Let me answer your question. Yes! The announcement of Erika Kirk's appointment, man, that sends shockwave, because nobody will get to the bottom of this better than EK. But her announcement and the appointment added another layer to the conversation. You see, the White House, in describing the selection, referenced her late husband's bold Christian faith. Her late husband's, not hers, but her husband's bold Christian faith. A detail that some critics attempted to seize upon as unusual, even inappropriate, in the context of a federal oversight role, whether intended as a biographical note or something more. I can't believe that happening. The inclusion, they believe, of that particular language has fueled, speculation. Speculation about the criteria guiding such appointments. Do you think? Oh, yeah. Now, to understand why this matters, it is critical for you to look at the role of the Board of Visitors itself, shall we? The board is not merely ceremonial. Oh, no. It serves as a congressionally mandated oversight body responsible for reviewing nearly every aspect of academy life, from curriculum and faculty to discipline and cadet welfare. Its findings can influence Pentagon review, congressional scrutiny, and ultimately funding decisions. Now, while it doesn't directly set policy per se, its recommendations carry significant weight in shaping the environment in which future Air Force officers are trained. And nobody better, my friends, nobody to steward the helm and lead the charge than our own Erika Kirk. Remember that? The December 2025 meeting minutes reveal a clear alignment with the administration's, quote, Restoring America's Fighting Force initiative, which is a policy framework emphasizing combat readiness, or what officials describe as lethality. I like that, because after all, that's what military is about. Blowing people up and things and killing people. That's it. But they want to build up this lethality alongside the rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. I mean, the DEI is DEAD, and you know that. Now, according to those records, academy leaders have already taken steps to remove DEI considerations from admissions and are conducting reviews of course content and facilities to ensure compliance with executive directives. And again, who better than Erika Kirk? Who? I mean, now supporters argue that, I like when they say supporters and critics. You know what that means. Supporters argue that such changes restore focus to merit-based advancement and military effectiveness. What's wrong with that? Critics, you know who those are. The critics, they counter that the definition of merit itself can be influenced by broader ideological assumptions, particularly when programs aimed at addressing historical disparities, I know we're worried about that, are removed without clear replacement. They love that stuff. Oh my God, they love how things look and not how things are. Further complicating the pictures are now public comments submitted to the board by outside figures, including Doug Truax, a conservative foundation executive who urged a review of faculty and programs he characterized as aligned with, quote, social justice agendas. I'm all for that. Let's review it. Who cares about reviewing something? I don't. Do you? I know EK doesn't. And his comments specifically highlighted statements made by academy officials regarding racial disparities, raising questions about whether internal discussions on such topics could now be viewed as through a more, politicized lens. Imagine that. No way, Jose or Hose B. Now, the Academy has reportedly established multiple internal task forces to implement the administration's directives. One such group concluded that the admissions process is now fully merit-based, with DEI elements removed. On its face, that founding appears straightforward. Yet it also invites a deeper question that people ask. What metrics define merit in an institution tasked with developing leaders for a diverse global force? Wait, what do you mean merit? For some observers, the concern extends beyond the policy into culture. Retired Air Force officers and former academy instructors have noted specifically that the Board of Visitors, while traditionally low profile, has begun to attract increased attention as its composition and focus evolve. And they point to the appointment of the individuals whose backgrounds are more closely tied to political or ideological advocacy than to military experience. We'll see about that. Many argue, this shift may not be incidental. You see, the board's recommendation, this is the point, the board's recommendations though indirect, can shape institutional priorities, influence internal reporting, and signal to leadership which perspectives align with broader expectations. What does that mean? I haven't the foggiest, but you know who I know. You know who likes this, and you know who doesn't. All right? Those of us who are rational, intelligent, who appreciate the task before us, appreciate efforts to expurgate and remove and modularize DEI surplusage, and those who are lily-livered, panty-waisted, liberal, commie, they're for it. See, I'm unbiased. Now, in that particular context we're talking about, even subtle changes in tone or emphasis can have ripple effects. Ripple effects throughout the academy. Imagine that, rippling through the academy. And there's also an historical dimension that cannot be ignored, ladies and gentlemen. You see, the Air Force Academy has faced recurring scrutiny over the past 2 decades regarding the role of religion within its culture. Investigations in the mid-2000s documented documented concerns from cadets who felt pressure to participate in religious activities or adopt specific beliefs. Subsequent surveys Subsequent surveys indeed suggested that a significant number of non-Christian cadets experienced, well, unwanted proselytizing. Oh, dread. Now, while Academy leadership has taken steps over the years to address effectively these issues, the reemergence of the religious language in connection with governance decisions has revived those earlier concerns for some critics. There we go, critics, supporters. Now, they argue that even the perception of favoritism towards a particular belief system can affect morale and cohesion and the institution's commitment to serving all cadets equally. God forbid in a time of war, were you to show any type of particular partiality towards anything that is deemed, well, Christian-like, whoa, that could be the end of military preparedness as we know it. Right. Now, at the same time, it's important to recognize that expressions of faith are not inherently incompatible with military service. The armed forces have long accommodated a wide range of religious beliefs among service members. And the challenge, as always, lies in maintaining a clear distinction between personal expression and institutional endorsement. Now remember, let me remind you of one thing. Nobody seemed to care years ago when there was all this DEI, drag queen, trans stuff going around. That was no problem. That didn't cause any cohesion, dehiscence, or disentanglement. That was no problem whatsoever. No. You can walk around and you can be a crypto-gendered, whatever it is, a fuzzy-beared, trans, whatever it is, and no problem whatsoever. That was great. Embrace them. But dare even hint at a Bible, and wow, it's a different story. Now, the composition of the Board of Visitors itself reflects broader political dynamics. You see, of its currently filled seats, a majority are held by members aligned with one party, and only a small number of members have direct military experience. Now, while such appointments are not unusual in any sense of the matter historically, they do raise questions about the balance of expertise and perspective on a body tasked with overseeing one of the nation's premier officer training instructions. And I think that's true. Comparisons with prior years certainly have been made, but they further highlight the shift. Meeting records from 2022, for example, indicate a focus on cadet welfare, sexual assault prevention, which is good, and other quality of life issues. The current emphasis appears more concentrated, some believe, on structural and ideological considerations, particularly those, tied to broader national debates about education and culture and identity. Identity, critical during warfare. Who am I? Start shooting. I don't know, but first, who am I? You're going to be dead if you don't start shooting. Now, none of this exists, of course, in a vacuum. The military has historically been viewed as one of the most nonpartisan institutions in American life, right? Bound by an oath to the Constitution rather than to any individual ideology. And that still remains true. And that tradition has been a cornerstone of public trust. Any scintilla of perception that political or religious frameworks are shaping institutional direction invites, of course, scrutiny, regardless of intent. And we wouldn't have it any other way. Now, supporters of the current changes argue that concerns about politicization are overstated, and that restoring focus on combat readiness is both necessary and overdue. They contend that previous initiatives introduced their own forms of ideological bias, and that the current approach simply, rebalances priorities. What's wrong with that? You got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that. I know you don't. Critics, however, warn, no, that the pendulum may be swinging too far in the opposite direction. Oh, no, you don't want to undo all that DEI stuff. Oh, no, nay. They argued that the combination of political changes, rhetorical framing, and personnel decisions could, in some respects, gradually reshape the culture of the academy in ways that are not immediately visible, but become significant over time. Now, at the center of this debate is something very, very critical. At the center of this debate is a fundamental question. What should the Air Force Academy prioritize as it trains the next generation of officers? Good question. Is the goal purely technical and tactical excellence, or does it also include preparing leaders to navigate a complex, diverse society? Come on. You know what the answer to that is. The answer in practice is likely both, some say. The challenge lies in ensuring that efforts to emphasize one do not inadvertently undermine the other. As Erika Kirk prepares to take her seat on the Board of Visitors, we wish her well, and we say that the broader implications of those changes remain uncertain. Her role, like that of other board members, will be to review, recommend, and advise. And who better than she? I know not. Yet in an environment where oversight bodies are increasingly seen as extensions of larger political agendas, even that role carries significant weight and heft. And what is, my friend, what is clear is that the conversation, the discussion, this give and take is far from settled. The Academy's direction, like the nation it serves, is shaped by competing visions, priorities, and values. And the decisions being made now, whether viewed as course correction or transformation, will undoubtedly, absolutely influence not only the institution itself, but also the officers it produces. Critical stuff, my friends. Critical stuff. And those officers, in turn, we believe, we trust, will shape the future of the military. Now, how will she do? I hope she will do splendidly. And I hope she understands the severity of what she's doing. I hope she listens to those individuals who might be not telling her what to do. Oh, no. But perhaps guiding her. This is critical business, my friends. This is critical business. You know, we can talk all day long about TPUSA and this, but this is about securing those individuals and those means to protect and defend our Constitution and our constitutional republic. And I can think of no one better, and I'm sure you agree with me, no one better than our own Erika Kirk. You go, girl. You go. Now is the time for you to do this. It's just because now that the grieving is out of the way and you're ready to get down to business, you can apply that expertise and that absolutely laser-like attention to a matter of absolute criticality that all of us Americans certainly agree, and we all wish her the best. Do you agree with me? Of course you do. Okay? Because don't forget, as the great Cam Fong as Chin Ho said on Hawaii Five-0, we're all in this together, brother. Thank you, my friends. Please like the video, subscribe repeatedly, unsubscribe and subscribe again. Just to get used to the feeling, to be a part of this intellectual evolution and revolution here at Lionel Nation. And I also want you to hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos, and make sure you subscribe. If I find out that you're not subscribing, well, and I pick up the phone and I say, Candace, they're not. Because Candace, don't forget. This might seem extreme to you, but is she our supreme leader? Yes. You got a problem with that? I don't think so. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so much. And now comment as you see fit.